Welcome to InfoSource, a presentation of Berkshire Healthcare Systems, a not-for-profit system of post-acute healthcare, including short-term rehabilitation, long-term care, independent living, assisted living, memory care programs, and hospice services available to our neighbors and families here in the Berkshires and beyond. I'm your host, Jenny Sutherland, and our guests today are Debbie Shavs, Volunteer Coordinator of Hospice Care in the Berkshire. She is joined by Sharon Vincent, Volunteer for Hospice Care, and we are all joined by Josie Bazenko, Volunteer at Mount Greylock Extended Care Facility. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. This is our holiday show. You didn't bring any reindeer antlers, dreidel, none of that? No, we're doing a different holiday show this year. Last year we had on different foods that our affiliates are having, and this year we're having a show about something you can have at this time of the year or throughout the whole year, and that's volunteering, which is near and dear to my heart. I think it's the nicest thing that you can do to a group or organization is give of your time. So thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Debbie is the volunteer coordinator of hospice care in the Berkshires. About how many people in the community volunteer for hospice care?
We have 85 amazing hospice care volunteers, and they provide their time helping our families throughout Berkshire County.
That is wonderful. And you coordinate all of them?
I coordinate all of them. I recruit, I train, and I coordinate.
I have to tell you, you're pretty amazing for doing that, Debbie.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can you tell us what those amazing volunteers have opportunities to do through hospice care?
Absolutely. Our main volunteers are our patient family volunteers, and they are the ones that visit the patients where they live. They provide companionship. They can spend time doing activities with them, reading, working on puzzles, or just being a supportive and comforting presence to the patient as well. Sure. And our volunteers can also provide respite to the caregiver, stay with the patient while the caregivers take a much needed break as well.
Sure. So do you need any special training before you come to hospice care? Or you guys train?
We do train. We do have a 21-hour training program that we offer. We do.
That is, so people go into a situation with some knowledge of what's going on.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And there are some different specialized kinds of volunteering. I know you have some for folks who like to do office support because you have a big office.
We do. We have our administrative volunteers. They come into the office. They're instrumental. They do a lot of our mailings, copying, filing, putting together our marketing packets.
And I have to say that's just as important as going out into the field and working with families and clients, because those jobs and tasks really support other folks so they can go out and do stuff. And a couple more ways to volunteer through hospice is a tuck-in.
We have what we call our tuck-in volunteers, and they are our volunteers that make weekly phone calls to our patients. We do that at the end of the week. We kind of tuck them in for the weekend to make sure they have enough supplies, medication, and support for the upcoming weekend. So our families do like that, and they know that we care about them.
I think that's a wonderful thing. When you mentioned that to me before, I was like, do we tuck them in at night? And I think that's wonderful, and people don't think to do that, so that's a great idea for that. And you have vigil volunteers.
Yep, those are specialized trainings that we do provide as well, and those are for vigils that we sit with patients who are actively dying. Our volunteers will sit bedside. Usually it's for patients that don't have family or friend present. But we can also be there when family and friends are present, just to be a good supportive presence.
Sure. And that is very, very good to give of your time to support people going through that.
Absolutely, and it's a difficult time.
It is a difficult time, but it's also a time when people show up and give that extra support. And even more of a special volunteer, you're going to share with us a volunteer opportunity that really, really, really takes a specialized person to volunteer for. And can you tell us what that is?
That is our pediatric palliative care program, and we have our volunteers in that program. So under hospice care, we do have, again, the pediatric palliative care program. It's for children 19 years or younger who have a life-limiting illness. So we do train our volunteers to be with the child as well as any of their siblings.
I think that's remarkable.
It's a wonderful
and you're going to hear me
program.
saying, really, really special people, really, really amazing. But I want to take the time to thank those volunteers especially for doing that. And for the family, you know, the families going through that, I'm sure
Absolutely.
appreciate, because when you hear of that, people tend to shy away a little bit and not want to be part of it. But that support, I'm sure, is appreciated by
Absolutely.
everybody involved.
Absolutely.
So please, on my behalf, thank those volunteers,
will.
especially
Thank you.
Debbie. Thank you. Yeah, it's a little hard to hear that and to move on, but thank you. Thank you
You're
for
welcome. Thank
coordinating
you.
that. And you brought with you, Debbie, one of your own volunteers. And can you introduce us to this lovely lady?
Sitting next to me is Sharon Vincent, and she is a dedicated and compassionate hospice care volunteer who gives her time so generously, and I can't thank you enough.
Well, thank you, Sharon. How long have you been volunteering with hospice?
For 6 years.
6 years. 6 years. And do you do that weekly?
I do, depending on how many patients I need to see. You know, I try to see them at least once a week. And it depends on in what area Deb needs me in. You know, I've been trained in the pediatric palliative care as well. I haven't had a patient there yet, but you know, if she needs me in administrative, I do some filing work, or I go to the hospital or someone's home or the nursing home, wherever I need to go.
Wherever you're called
Yep.
to.
Yep.
Well, again, thank you. There's going to be a lot of
It's my
thanking
joy.
going on. It really is
For
a
sure,
joy
it
too.
is an honor.
Yeah, well, it's an honor to have you here to thank you.
you.
And how long have you been volunteering for hospice care?
Well, for 6 years. I was a teacher, and when I retired, that was one thing I was really looking forward to. I mean, as far as volunteering, that started when I was really little. I mean, I have to say my parents felt that it was really important, and so my siblings and I were just reminded we had a lot of talents and abilities, and that they weren't really valuable unless you shared them with others. And so we were expected to share in school, at church, through our whole time growing up, and it just kind of carried over. And as far as hospice care was concerned, I think, like any volunteer, if you're touched personally by an organization or a cause, you tend to want to give back.
Yes.
And my dad was dying, and hospice care of the Berkshires did come in, and I can't say enough for them. I mean, they just took over all of the administrative things and menial tasks, paperwork that needs to be done at the same time when someone's dying, and all we had to do was really
Be there.
there with my dad, and it just made it so much easier on us, for sure. So I knew that when I retired, that was something I wanted to do. So the first month after I retired from teaching, I went to hospice care and asked about that, and they kind of scooted me in to be trained with
I would scoot
the
her
next
and
group.
snatch her.
So I was really, really glad to do that. But there's a lot of, I mean, and also my brother died of AIDS when he was 39, and I just saw a lot of people that were by themselves, you know, for one reason or another, their family couldn't be with them, and you know, knowing that there is an agency that will provide people to be supportive and just be that hand to hold, and just be there for that person. It's just, I can't explain the feeling that you have to be able to make a difference there at that time. Yeah.
Well, that was truly something from your heart you shared with us, so thank you for
You're
doing
welcome.
that. And Debbie, you're very lucky to have her at
I'm
hospice
very
care.
lucky.
But
All
I
our
think I
volunteers.
need to say, I think everyone in Berkshire County that is cared for by hospice care in the Berkshires is lucky to have you as a volunteer. So
thank you.
Thank you. And what she was saying, she receives and gets back from volunteering. You hear that a lot from your volunteers, Debbie. Is that true?
We do hear that a lot, and they say, a lot of our volunteers will say, I get more from the patient than I give. And it's really a win-win situation for both the patient and our volunteer. And I believe all volunteers have the desire to willingly help others. And it's not because they have to, it's because they want to. And that's very humbling.
And I think hearing, you know, what Sharon, you shared with us about how your family instilled that volunteering value, into you, so you went out and did that throughout your life and right away. And you have folks who've never volunteered before, Debbie, just come in and
no
say
experience.
nothing.
You just have to be a friend to
Just
somebody.
a friend.
Absolutely, and
With
we'll
some-
train you.
with some giving.
You just have to be
Yeah.
non-judgmental. Just listen.
And go for it. So,
Exactly.
well, thank you, and thank you again for sharing that amazing story with us, and your amazing
Absolutely.
volunteer. And I'm sure you have all of your volunteers who are amazing, so
They
thank
are.
you.
And they're
we're-
a great agency.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, they're
so
so
we should say
supportive to
we're
us.
looking for more amazing volunteers.
Absolutely.
Always
We're
looking
always
for.
looking.
We're going to be looking at this holiday
always-
time and throughout the rest of the year, looking for volunteers for hospice
Absolutely.
care in the Berkshires. And can you give the number right now, and then we'll do
Absolutely.
it again? Yeah.
Anyone that is interested, our number at Hospice Care in the Berkshires is 443-2994, and we are located at 877 South Street in Pittsfield.
All right. Well, thank you. We'll
Thank
say
you.
that again, just in case we pique some more interest again in the show. We're going to take a short break to learn more about hospice care in the Berkshires, and when we come back, we're going to talk to a volunteer who's near and dear to my heart.
Nestled in the center of the picturesque Berkshires of western Massachusetts, Hospice Care in the Berkshires has served the county for more than 30 years. Hospice Care in the Berkshires is a proud affiliate of Berkshire Healthcare, the state's largest nonprofit provider of nursing, rehabilitation, and senior housing in Massachusetts. Berkshire Healthcare is committed to fulfilling the health and residential needs of the people in the communities we serve. Hospice Care in the Berkshires offers comfort, compassion, and the emotional and spiritual support families and patients value when faced with life-limiting illness.
When my mother-in-law was diagnosed with terminal cancer, we had hospice come directly to our home. It's where she resided and wanted to have her care done. It was a tough time for the family because it was a shock to find out the limited amount of time that she had. But when we started working with hospice, they came in and worked with us wonderfully. They helped us navigate through all the administrative tasks. They told us about all the services that were available to both the patient and the family, the social workers, the home aides, the nurses, and really helped us get through this tough time.
Our caring, dedicated, and experienced team of professionals supports patients and families where they live, whether it's at home, a nursing home, or assisted and independent living facilities. This team includes hospice-trained physicians, hospice nurses, family counselors, spiritual counselors, and hospice aides.
Oftentimes people ask us, why do you work for hospice? Why would you do this? Why do you work with dying patients? And I think most of the people on our team would say that it's an honor to work with people at end of life. It's an honor to try to support families and patients through end of life, to make sure that they are cared for with dignity, that they die peacefully, that their families are supported through that process. It's our goal to make it even a little bit better if we can. We can't change the outcome, but to be there and to support families through the process and patients through the process in every aspect is really important.
And we do try to support both the physician and the patient and family at this time in their lives in whatever location that patient and family want to be.
And I just knew that when I retired, I wanted to be part of helping people that were dying and didn't have someone to be there to support them. I knew that that's something I wanted to do.
Our incredible team of hospice-trained volunteers are instrumental to the support we offer families. Our team of over 100 volunteers helps with transportation to appointments, running errands, and respite for the caregivers.
When you know that you can make a difference and that person is secure and feels not as scared because they have someone to sit there to hold their hand, I just can't tell you you just feel like you're floating on a cloud when you leave. And to be there when they actually die and to know that you've made it easier for them, you just can't explain that.
Hospice Care in the Berkshires is grateful to the many people who make donations. All the funds raised support the agency's community programs and services, an integral part of how we serve Berkshire County.
Bereavement services at Hospice Care in the Berkshires are funded through philanthropic dollars from the community, and that would include donations, memorial donations, and also community events that we have, such as our gala, our Remembrance Walk that we have every September, and that allows us to provide bereavement services to all members of the community, not just folks who were hospice patients' families.
I would definitely recommend hospice care in the Berkshires to other families. Again, the range of services was wonderful. In fact, I love the organization so much that I now volunteer and help other families who are going through it.
Choosing hospice isn't about giving up on life. It's about choosing the support needed in order to live a full life right now. For more information about how hospice care in the Berkshires can help, call us at 413-443-2994.
Welcome back. We're talking about volunteering at this special time of the year, the holidays, and not just about volunteering at this time of the year, but throughout the whole year as our holiday show. Again, to me, the greatest thing you can give to anybody or any other organization, animals, environmental, is your own time, because that's truly all that we have to give is our own time. And sitting next to me, I said, was someone who is near and dear to my heart. She is a volunteer weekly at Mount Greylock Extended Care Facility. When I was activity director at Mount Greylock, you came on board and you came in and said, I would like to volunteer here. I don't know what I can do, but I want to do it. Please introduce me. I don't want to sing and dance. I don't want to do any of that, but I want to give you my time. So I thank you.
You're welcome.
For coming in, Josie, and doing that. Now, how long have you been volunteering at Mount Greylock?
It's been about a year and a half.
A year and a half.
Yeah, about that.
Okay. And you started volunteering and you came into Mount Greylock. Why specifically?
Mount Greylock specifically because my mother had gotten sick and we had to put her in the nursing home or at Mount Greylock. And the kindness of the staff and the caring of the staff was just incredible. Words can't even express how my sisters and I felt. And I just wanted to give back a little bit of what we had received while she was there.
Oh, and that's nice to hear that Mount Greylock was good.
Wonderful facility.
But it's even nicer to hear that their good work inspired you to go out and give back into the community and to Mount Greylock and to those residents. When you are volunteering at Mount Greylock, I'm smiling because this is probably going to cry in a minute. You don't generally like to volunteer with the arts and crafts group. You don't want. You don't certainly want to call bingo.
No.
You don't want to lead. You enjoy volunteering with individual residents.
I do.
And there's one individual resident that you particularly spend time with each week, and we are going to cheat and have you say hi to her. Can you want to do that?
Hi, Tara.
Hi, Tara. Oh, she's smiling.
I bet
When
she
she
is.
sees her, she's smiling. And you're smiling when you said her
yeah.
name.
Yeah.
Now, with this resident, you volunteer weekly, and what do you guys typically do together with your time?
We do puzzles, read, look at her family pictures, visit other residents, and just kind of, we chat back and forth. She whips out her iPad when I don't understand what she's trying to tell me, and types out what she wants me to know.
Yeah. And you like to go outside and good
And we
weather?
go outside,
You go outside.
and when they do the shopping to the mall, and I go with her and take her around, and she likes to do that.
Well, she likes is an understatement. She loves to do the shopping, and she loves to do the shopping with you, because that is a buddy thing, and you go out and look at all sorts of stuff. And I know the first time that we went out shopping, that she joined us and you joined us, she ditched you for a few minutes. She did, and you were like, oh, where is she? And she was with me, and we went and bought you a present to give to you, thanking you for being her friend. And that had been the first time she'd been out in a long time, and your first time, and I know that was a special day for her, and now you're shopping buddies and best buddies, so that's
She's a very
really
special
nice.
person.
And you guys have a pretty good time together. I know that is true. And so this is, you have a good time and you enjoy being with each other. But I know there's an important feeling that you get and that you feel Tara gets when you're together. And can you share about that?
When I walk into the building, and she's usually sitting down by the nurse's station, and she spots me, and this big smile comes on her face, and you know that she's so grateful and so happy to see me, and myself also. Also, that it's just, it's like having a little sister, or that kind of a relationship where we've just really connected, and I know she gets a lot out of it, and my heart gets a lot out of it.
So we're hearing that quite a bit, that you
It's
get
just like
that. Yeah,
I get a lot out of it.
because you feel good about
I
being
do.
with her, how you make her feel and how she makes you
Yep,
feel.
that's right.
And I think that truly is beautiful, and that is giving of your time and
Right.
stuff. And now you share that with your friends, you're volunteering, and your family you're volunteering, because I know your son wants you to work at his office a lot, and you have to tell him, back off, this is my time.
right.
You're retired, and that's your time with,
Yeah.
with your friend at Mount Greylock. Well, thank you so much for
You're
sharing
welcome.
that
You're
and
welcome.
all that you do there. The amazing story about your mom's care and that you deciding to give back to Mount Greylock. And thank you. And we want to go back to these young ladies for a few minutes. And that was a pretty powerful story,
It's
wasn't
very
it?
powerful.
Yeah. And I'm sure you both have a lot to share about that. And we were joking at the halftime when we watched some clips of hospice care in the Berkshires that, now how long have you been with hospice care?
I've been with hospice for 6 years.
6 years. And before that, Debbie Chavez.
I was a stay-at-home mom.
There we go. A stay-at-home mom. But what else did you do before that?
I worked at the college.
The college.
Yep, in the IT department.
And no idea that someday you'd be involved with volunteering.
Correct.
So I know, and I'm not saying anything about being a mother. That's totally fulfilling and wonderful and magical, and giving of your time, not so much freely because you have to, but this is a totally different job for you, where you're giving back to the community and being part of this. So that's pretty special, isn't it?
It is very special, and it's very rewarding.
Very
because
rewarding.
our volunteers want to be here because they want to be.
Yes.
And I think that makes my job so much easier as well.
Now, do you go sometimes out to health fairs and wellness fairs and look for volunteers, or do a lot of people word of mouth?
A lot of it's word of mouth. We
That's
do
wonderful.
put things in our church bulletins or faith bulletins. Yep, or Council on the Aging.
Council on the Aging.
Absolutely. And we do recruit at our different events that we do go to.
But I think it's amazing that you get folks that are word of mouth.
It's mostly word of mouth.
Or folks that have had
An experience.
Right.
folks in their family or friends being helped by hospice care, wanting to give back. Is that a typical thing?
Very.
Very typical.
Everybody has a story to share.
And give back and stuff
Absolutely.
like that. And I'm sure that was part of your healing too, a little bit, to
Absolutely.
to give back.
I think, and being volunteer for hospice care, they're like a family. So if there's anything you need to have a question about that you don't understand, they get the answers for you. I mean, you're not floundering by yourself ever. They always have someone to support you. And I think, and I've said this to my own family, a lot of the youth today, they're not real happy. And I think in volunteering, it gives you so much happiness.
It sure does.
It's free. And you just have to reach inside you. Everybody's got a big heart. And once they finally share it with someone, they get so much more back. And you don't expect it. You're just doing what really you're meant to do with your talents and abilities, and you just have to take that risk and say, I'm going to try it. And then you're just bitten. You just have to. And again, word of mouth. I just let people know it's like wonderful, great. It's good to volunteer no matter where you're going to be volunteering. You just have to take that step and try it.
Yeah, I think that's just a wonderful philosophy and a way of putting volunteering. Just try it. And really, everybody can volunteer. I know with my work at facilities and stuff, having preschoolers come in and volunteer to sing songs and do stuff like that is important. And actually, we have a volunteer who is in high school, manning one of the cameras right now. Molly Amuso over there, who is probably blushing behind the camera, but she also volunteers at Mount Greylock throughout the summer and sometimes on weekends, and she's volunteering here with us. So you can give back and volunteer with an individual, a group, out in the community. I know there's different organizations that do things with animals. Whatever is your niche to get into, you should give of your time, because you get that good feeling back. Look at you. I mean,
And it isn't something you volunteer for just to get that feeling.
No.
It's a perk.
Yeah,
I
no,
mean, it
it's
just comes along
surprising.
with it.
Yeah.
So
and
it is such a reward.
that surprised you, didn't it?
It did, absolutely. It just floored me. I never expected to have that deep feeling about volunteering, and you get so attached.
You do.
You know?
And I know when you started early on volunteering at Mount Greylock, and I don't know if you remember saying this to me, but you said to me, I feel bad because I'm getting so much out of, I don't know if they are, I don't know, but I'm loving this. And I thought that was great, because that is so true, the smile on your face, but they are too. And some people can express it and some people can't for whatever reasons, and it's just a good feeling. So I'm so happy that that has happened for you, because being on this show terrified you, didn't it? When I asked you, will you come on the show and talk about volunteering, even though it was near and dear to your heart, it's connected heart and mind, it scared you, didn't it?
Oh, it sure did.
And you agreed to come on the show because why?
Because I love Tara and I love the work that I'm doing, the volunteering. I just love it.
And I thank you for loving it. And I want to thank you, and I want to thank you. And I
so
want to thank
welcome.
all the other volunteers in every volunteer situation. Thank you for giving of your time at this time of the year and throughout the whole year. And if you don't volunteer, just spend a little time with anybody, even saying hi out in a store or something. That's giving of yourself to someone who needs a hello, maybe. So what I want to say to everybody is, happy holidays, happy new year from Berkshire Healthcare Systems. This has been InfoSource, a presentation of Berkshire Healthcare System. Thank you.